Well, they are a southern favorite, not only here in Georgia, but throughout the Southeast. We are talking about crepe myrtles and everything you need to know about planting them, taking care of them. We've got Melodie McDanal from Pike Nurseries here this morning to help us with all of that. Good morning, Melodie.
Morning.
You know, you're not kidding when you say that they are a southern favorite.
Really?
I think nearly every yard in my neighborhood has one somewhere. Why are they so popular?
Well, for one thing, they bloom in the middle of the summer when we're most outdoors enjoying our gardens, so we get to see them. They're actually called a 100-day tree. That's a nickname because they bloom for 100 days. So the length of the bloom time and the beautiful color choices, I think, make them the favorite.
Yeah, because there's a lot of variety here.
So many colors. And I love to say, pick out your crepe myrtles this time of year because you can actually see the blooms and choose the color you like the
surprised.
most. Yeah. So talking about color, you can see down front we've got a kind of purple. There's even light pinks, which we have here. This is a pretty one that actually has a little bit of red and white. And this is a true red. Now what you're going to notice about all of these is there are different sizes.
Right.
So there are crepe myrtles that can fit almost any situation in full sun. They are a sun-loving plant.
Okay.
So if you have a perennial garden or a small patio, you can choose one of the dwarf varieties that can even go in a container.
Okay.
And then you have huge trees which have the beautiful cinnamon color bark. And that's the other reason I think they're a favorite is they're a four-season plant.
Right.
So they're really pretty now when they're blooming. They have amazing fall color, and then the bark is beautiful in the wintertime.
Well, what do we need to know if we want to plant some brand new? Get some in your yard.
The first thing is full sun. So you want to pick a spot that has sun. If you have a part sun, they won't bloom quite as much. So the more sun, the better. And then just be sure to amend the soil when you plant them. So add some good soil. And then once they're established, they're super easy. They love the heat of the summer and they're drought tolerant, so they don't need a lot of water.
I think I know, I learned a lot from you. That's why mine aren't blooming so well. I got a lot of shade where ours are planted. But I'm starting to get some pretty colors right now anyway.
Good,
so,
yeah.
Yeah, because I know you've mentioned that they're very easy to take care of, but there's a reason the term crepe myrtle exists. Pruning may not be so easy. What are some things people need to know?
And what crepe myrtle is you'll see it's typically in January, February. A lot of people will go in, and that is the time to prune them back to get extra blooms. There is no need to take them back to those nubs. That you see. And yes, we call that crepe myrtle. Don't do it. So you can prune them, but a much more natural prune and not quite as deep, and you'll still get beautiful blooms. And actually, they bloom even if you don't prune them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's really foolproof as long as you get the pruning right, as far as them being hardy and something they kind of deliver all year round.
Right. So fertilize them in the summer and again in the fall. Prune them in the winter. Once they're set, you're ready and get to enjoy them.
You know, back to the varieties, I love that too, because you typically just think of the big trees. We've actually got several behind us back over our shoulder, but having these dwarf varieties, I mean, that can fit into any part of your landscape.
Absolutely. These can go in like a perennial garden, be extra. And you know, they bring in butterflies and pollinators too, so that's another great thing. And don't forget the new varieties. So there's one we haven't talked about just yet that's beside you.
Okay.
Take a look at the foliage on that one.
That's beautiful.
Isn't it beautiful, that kind of chocolate burgundy foliage? So there are several different varieties of colors. The one we have here is pink, but there's even a white one which stands out amazingly against that foliage. So yeah, there's lots of new varieties to look for as well.
Very good. Well, thank you for that. Is there anything going on at Pike Nursery this weekend?
There is actually. So if you're a new homeowner or maybe new to gardening, we have a class for you. Gardening for Beginners is this Saturday at all locations at 9 a.m.
I think I might need to be there. I'm a beginner
We'll
myself.
see you then.
All right. Thank you, Melodie. Have a good weekend. And Buck and Elise, I'll send it back to you.
All right. Another episode of Flowers with Feldman. I love it.
Well, you know, and I think I've committed crepe murder before.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, didn't know any better.
Well, it's
Now
not a
I
life
know.
sentence. You're going to be